going to be building a carnivorous display. It's going to be one of the new videos, or I guess new videos in a series for carnivorous plants or savage gardening. This is going to be a Pinguicula display. The plants aren't here yet, but I set it up, and I'm going to walk you through the steps it took to set it up, so that you can see how it's done, their care, stuff like that. And when the plants get here, all we have to do is an unboxing and plant showcase. So the goal isn't to just grow these plants, it's to create a display that mimics a natural rocky outcropping. I ordered 4 different specimens. They're all Mexican Pinguiculas, and in the wild in Mexico, that's where they grow on. They grow on limestone outcroppings or cliff edges on rocks. For the growing media, I'm mostly using perlite, some cactus mix, and some chopped sphagnum moss. Mexican butterworts in general like an airy, easily draining, low nutrient soil. So for the soil mix we're going to be making today, we're going to use 2 parts perlite, 1 part pre-made cactus mix, and 1 part long-form sphagnum moss. If you use the pre-made cactus mixes at all, make sure that there's no added fertilizer in it. Carnivorous plants in general evolve being in nutrient-poor soils. Any added fertilizers can burn the roots, harm them, kill them. It's not good for them. Before we get these planted, let's take a minute to talk about what exactly a butterwort even is. Butterworts belong to the plant genus Pinguicula. They're found across a lot of the world, ranging from areas in North and South America all the way to parts of Europe and Asia. The types of butterworts we're going to be planting in this eventually are all Mexican species, so they're a group of butterworts that have adapted to being on cliff edges or cliff walls and rocky limestone outcrops in central Mexico. A general rule of thumb with carnivorous plants in general is only water with distilled water, reverse osmosis water, or rainwater. Heavy nutrients or mineral contents in, like, say, tap water can burn the roots and kill the plants. Unlike other carnivorous species like Venus flytraps or pitcher plants like Sarracenias or Nepenthes, these normally grow on rocky outcrops in between rock cracks and places where the water is going to be passing fairly quickly through the roots. If you've never seen butterworts before, or pinguiculas, they're going to be one of 3 major carnivorous groups that's going to be in the Savage Garden collection here. So instead of pitchers like Sarracenia species or Nepenthe species, or snap traps like Venus flytraps, pinguiculas use sticky leaves covered in these tiny glands that trap insects onto the leaves directly. They're fairly easy to grow overall once you understand what they're like. Eventually, I want to include the genus Nepenthes, Sarracenia, Drosera, and Venus flytraps too into this series, so there'll be a couple more videos. So to make this, we're going to be using the display bowl, and then we're going to add a layer of clean gravel or pea gravel, and then on top of that, we're going to be using the hardware cloth to separate the gravel from the soil. Since the bowl doesn't have drainage holes, the first thing I'm going to do is create a drainage layer with the gravel. To keep the soil from falling into the rocks, I'm going to be cutting out some galvanized hardware cloth to fit over the top. So instead of forming snapping traps or deep pitchers, butterworts have sticky leaves with thousands of microscopic glands. Those glands produce tiny droplets of mucilage which reflects in the light and attracts small insects like fungus gnats or springtails. Once an insect gets stuck, the plant's leaves produce digestive enzymes which allows the plant to absorb things like phosphorus and nitrogen from the insect itself. One cool thing is that many Mexican butterworts actually change form throughout the year. During the rainy season, they get more larger, stickier, carnivorous leaves. And during drier seasons, a lot of species switch to a more compact, succulent rosette and less carnivorous activity overall. So if your plant suddenly looks different, it usually isn't dying at all. It could just be simply changing with the seasons. One thing I don't think we've touched on yet is actually how much light the Mexican butterworts will need. Now, these guys normally grow on mountainsides and rocky cliff edges where they get fairly bright light in general, but they're still protected from the harshest afternoon sun from other rock faces and surrounding foliage. So if you're growing them outside, morning sun and afternoon shade works pretty well. In cooler climates, they can tolerate a little bit more direct sunlight, but overall, in hotter climates, they need a little bit more protection from the harsher afternoon sun. When they're getting enough light and they're happy, the leaves stay relatively compact, colorful, and sticky. If the leaves start to become more paler in color or stretched out, or they start to lose the sticky dew overall, they're probably asking for more sunlight. If the leaves start bleaching white or they get these dry, crispy patches, especially after being moved to a new spot all of a sudden, it means they're probably getting too much light. The rock I'm using for this is just Druzy quartz. Lava rocks, they're limestone rocks. Work fine, but this is just what I had, and it looked nice, so. If you're growing them indoors, a higher powered, stronger LED grow light would work fine, as long as they're getting at least 12 to 14 hours roughly of the light a day. One mistake a lot of people can make is treating any carnivorous plant like it's the same. Mexican butterworts are not swamp plants. They don't like sitting in standing water in bog conditions like fly traps or sarracenias do. Which also means I'm going to have to be careful of how I water this, since there's no drainage. Now all that's left is waiting for the butterworts to arrive, and once they get here, we can do the unboxing. So the Mexican butterworts arrived today, and I am so excited to see how they shipped in their condition and get them set up in the display. The seller also included a free bonus plant, which is always appreciated. This is Pinguicula moranensis caudata X, a Guatemalan species. Since it's a hybrid, it'll combine traits from both parents, but I can expect a compact rosette of sticky carnivorous leaves that will trap small insects, just like the rest of the collection. It'll be so fun to watch this one mature and see which characteristics become the most prominent. Next is Pinguicula Laueana CP2 Emarginata. One of the things that drew me to this hybrid in the first place is its incredible coloration under strong lighting. It can develop beautiful shades of pink, peach, and yellow. It's a compact Mexican butterwort that's just as functional as it is ornamental, with sticky leaves that trap small insects. This is Pinguicula Estrellita, whose name means little star, and it's easy to see why. Its pointed leaves form a neat star-shaped rosette that really stands out in a collection. It's a vigorous Mexican butterwort that's known for being attractive, compact, and relatively easy to grow. We have Pinguicula John Rizzi. The cultivar has broad, rounded leaves that create a soft, symmetrical rosette. With good lighting, it develops subtle cream, peach, and pink tones, making it one of the more elegant butterwort cultivars. Like the others, its sticky leaves act as a natural insect trap while giving it a unique appearance. This is Pinguicula Moctezumae Agnata. This hybrid combines the long, narrow leaves of Pinguicula Moctezumae with the easier growing nature of Pinguicula Agnata. It forms an elegant rosette with plenty of sticky leaves for catching fungus gnats and other tiny insects, making it both a beautiful display plant and a surprisingly effective natural pest controller. I'll also be including the seller's link in the description of the video. They're based off of Etsy, but I'm definitely leaving some good reviews after this. Everything arrived so well.